The morning began with a quiet kind of chaos, the kind that doesn't shout but slowly crushes your chest. The kind where hands shake not from fear alone, but from exhaustion, responsibility, and years of holding yourself together for someone else. In the glass walls of a towering corporate building, a single father stood adjusting a worn tie that had seen better days, unaware that one small moment was about to change the direction of his life forever. Before the story unfolds further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of unexpected human connection, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories like this, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. Daniel Carter had not slept properly in years. Life had turned into a routine of survival after his wife passed away suddenly, leaving him alone with a 6-year-old daughter named Lily. Every morning started before sunrise, packing lunches, tying shoelaces, calming nightmares, and hiding his own grief behind a tired smile. His world revolved around Lily, and everything else came second, including himself. The job interview he was about to attend was his last hope, not for ambition or success, but for stability. Rent was overdue, savings were gone, and pride had long been swallowed. Daniel's suit was borrowed, slightly too tight around the shoulders. His tie was old, the fabric softened by time and struggle. As he stood in the corporate lobby, surrounded by polished marble floors and confident professionals, his hands trembled. Not because he lacked skills, but because life had taught him how easily things could fall apart. He had rehearsed answers all night while Lily slept beside him, her small hand clutching his shirt as if she too feared he might disappear. Across the lobby, unnoticed at first, stood Evelyn Ross. She was the CEO of the company Daniel was interviewing for. Known across industries for her sharp instincts and calm authority, Evelyn had built her empire from nothing. What the headlines never mentioned was how loneliness followed her success like a shadow. No family, no children, and a life measured in board meetings and empty penthouses. That morning, she had come in early, not for work, but because silence felt safer than going home. As Evelyn walked through the lobby, her eyes landed on Daniel. There was something familiar in his posture, something fragile hidden beneath determination. She noticed his shaking hands struggling with the tie, the way he took deep breaths as if bracing for impact. Without thinking, she stepped closer and gently fixed the crooked knot. Her movement was instinctive, human, unplanned. In a soft, almost unspoken moment, she asked why he was shaking, not with judgment, but with concern. Daniel froze. No one had asked him that in years. Not how he was feeling, not if he was okay. The question cracked something inside him, and the truth poured out in quiet honesty through his expression. Evelyn saw it all. The exhaustion, the fear, the love of a father trying to be everything for a child while holding himself together with threads. That moment stayed with Evelyn long after Daniel was escorted to the interview room. She sat behind the glass wall during the interview, unseen, watching him answer questions not with confidence, but with sincerity. He didn't exaggerate his achievements or pretend to be flawless. He spoke about responsibility, resilience, and learning through loss. When asked about pressure, his voice shook again, but he didn't hide it. He owned it. Evelyn made a decision that day that had nothing to do with resumes or references. Daniel was hired, not out of pity, but because his presence reminded her of something she had forgotten. Humanity. The weeks that followed were not easy. Daniel struggled to balance work and fatherhood. He stayed late, rushed home, missed deadlines, and made mistakes. But he never complained. Evelyn noticed everything. She noticed how he kept a photo of Lily on his desk. How he declined after-work drinks. How he ran out during lunch to attend school meetings. Slowly, she began adjusting policies, introducing flexible hours, childcare support, and a work culture that valued people over numbers. Daniel's life began to stabilize. Bills were paid. Lily smiled more. Nights felt lighter. One evening, during a company event, Evelyn saw Daniel and Lily together. Lily hugged him tightly, laughing as if the world was safe. Evelyn felt something ache in her chest, something she had buried long ago. Regret, longing, and hope tangled together. Time passed. Success followed. Daniel grew into his role, gaining confidence not just as an employee, but as a man rediscovering his worth. Evelyn, inspired by his quiet strength, began to open herself to connection, mentorship, and compassion. Their bond was never rushed, never forced. It grew through shared respect, understanding, and the unspoken language of people who had survived loneliness. Years later, Daniel stood in the same lobby, but this time his hands were steady. His tie was new, his posture confident. Lily stood beside him, older now, proud. Evelyn watched from a distance, smiling softly. She remembered the man who once shook under the weight of the world and the moment she chose kindness without knowing why. Just before this story ends, we want to ask you something from the heart. Please comment one word that describes how this story made you feel. Your words matter more than you know. Life does not always change in loud, dramatic ways. Sometimes it changes through a small act of kindness, a simple question, or a moment where one human truly sees another. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you to be gentle with others or with yourself, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps keep stories like this alive, and somewhere, someone shaking under the weight of life might find hope because of it.